Hey, what's going on, everyone? Big Bob. Welcome back to another edition of Tales of a King. Today we're in Sacramento, California. We're going to speak with Chicano Yank. You guys stay tuned. King Life.
My brand and with my internet or social media resources, I like to promote other brands. I like to promote like people who are coming up and just to me it's just cool. I just like it. I feel that this is enough for everybody, and you don't have to put anybody down to make yourself better. Right. It's easier, it's better if you promote other people and then bring everybody up. And I think that's something that is really important to me, at least. Right. And I enjoy it.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Big Bob. Welcome back to another edition of Tales of a King. We hope you guys enjoyed the last episode, man. We truly appreciate all the love and support we've been getting. Today we were summer special. We told you guys we were going to start traveling more, and we came up to Northern California to Sacramento. And to the right of me, we got Yank. How you doing, Yank?
Good.
Thank you for having us, man.
Thank you for coming.
A lot of you guys may know Yank from Instagram at Chicano Yank, and he posts bikes and shows, events, and cars and stuff like that. The whole Chicano culture type page, right? And so we appreciate you for having us. How did you get the name Yank?
Well, it's a funny story, growing up, I was my dad. Well, it's my dad. He had a friend, and this is in the early '60s when the New York Yankees were really good. He come over and he used to bet a lot of money against the New York Yankees, and so he would lose. And every time he would lose, I was around, so he called me a jinx. He called me a damn Yankee. So you're a jinx, you're a Yankee. And so since I was like a year old, it's always been my name that they call me by. My family calls me by. Even like when I was graduating high school and stuff, they announced my name as Yank.
Really?
Yeah.
So it literally stuck with you. It's not
stuck,
like a nickname. That's pretty much.
That's it.
I mean, it's a nickname, but it's almost like your name.
It is my name. Yeah. So it's been a name that I've had since a year old, and it's a trip, you know. And I enjoy it. I love it. I just levitate towards it, and I'm not a big Yankees fan, no, but I like the name.
Well, do you have a baseball team?
I like the Dodgers. I do like the Dodgers. Kind of grew up in SoCal, so we like the Dodgers, Raiders. They're both north and south. Right. Now the Vegas, but. I enjoy sports. A big Laker fan growing up. Yeah. I got to see Wilt Chamberlain play.
Oh, nice.
Person.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So that was cool, and I got to see the Lakers as well. The Showtime.
Magic and all that.
Magic and all of them.
That's cool. So how long have you been in Northern California?
I moved up in '96.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so I've been here for 20-something years.
Oh, okay, so this is home now.
Relatively. I mean, my heart's still in SoCal, but this is home. My wife lives here, my daughter, one of my sons lives here, my other son lives in Southern California. Okay. But we really don't have any family that lives here. I don't have any family that lives here. Mostly everybody's from Southern California.
Right. So when did you incorporate the Chicano in front of Yank? When you started your Instagram, or was that something?
Yes, it was for Instagram. It kind of represents, Mexican American. That's kind of what I looked at. It's like, okay, I'm Chicano. I claim to be Chicano, but my name's Yank too. If you put them together, it's like Mexican Yank,
right, or
a Chicano Yank. So it's like, I like that. So
it almost like you said, has that Mexican American sound.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the story until now, but that's what I thought you were trying to incorporate. So for you guys that don't know, now you know. I thought it was like Yank, like American.
No,
Yankee or whatever, Chicano. That's funny.
Yeah, that's my name. So.
And so, and then how long have you had that Instagram?
Maybe 3 or 4 years, not very long.
Oh, wow.
It hasn't been that long.
Yeah, that thing just took off. Huh?
Yeah, it did. It really did. And I think the reason it probably took off so much is because I got to travel a lot, and I got to go down south a lot, and I'd meet people, and And I'd talk to them. I'd say, hey, can I get a picture? Can I take a picture of you, of your bike, or and let them know that I'm going to post it, and word of mouth, because I've never bought any followers. I've just, it's all been, just comes naturally. So, so I think that's kind of cool, and also, just the respect that I have for people and their vehicles and just the lifestyle.
Right. Yeah, your page is probably one of the first pages that actually, from what I've seen, I'm sorry if anyone or offended anyone, from what I've seen that did that as far as, hey, man, your bike's, sweet, let me get a picture and post it on my Instagram. Because usually it's just like professional photos or studio photos or whatever, or magazine. So your page is one of the first ones I saw, this dude's like just putting up pictures of other people's bikes. That's cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, for you guys that don't know, you rarely show yourself, right? It's more pushing the culture, the style, the Cholo style, the Chicano style, motorcycles, cars, lifestyle, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, nobody wants to see ugly pictures of me, so I don't want to be looking at my ugly
he's 82?
I'm close.
No, he's not. Yeah, because a lot of people sometimes don't know the faces behind these bigger pages, or or who's putting the content. And not only are you putting content of the culture of the scene, but you live what you're doing.
Definitely.
These are his 3 motorcycles right here, and like always, we'll get some better photos and all that video. But you got 3 motorcycles, so you're living what you're pushing out to the people.
Yeah, I mean, I've been riding since I'm 10 years old. I've been riding for a long time, over 50 years, and I just love it. I love the freedom. I love the way it makes you feel. It's just, and the people too. I mean, when I moved up to Sacramento, I didn't know anybody. I just moved up for work. The only thing I had was my bike, and so I would meet people through my bike. And so basically, all of my friendships, everything that I've developed, have been through my motorcycle because they rode as well. So yeah, it's been a really I don't even know. It's a lifestyle, of course. But it's been a big part of my life as well, and I really, really love it.
You said lifestyle, and I know I've said this before in another episode, but I think people think of bikers or guys who ride motorcycles, and a lot of people, I used to anyway, you think of someone like me, tattooed, this, that, Levi's. But the truth is, and even as I get older, dude, a biker's a biker. Whether you're in an office, whether you're welding, whether you're a businessman, whether lawyer, blue collar, whatever. And it's a lifestyle. It's not a style.
Right.
And I've been like really, for myself, I'm really focusing on that. And you hit it right on the head when you said that. It's a lifestyle. It's not a style.
Right. It doesn't matter your occupation. It really doesn't, It helps if you have a good business or a good job, because then you can, dump money into your bikes.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah. That's funny. Now, as far as what was the first bike out of these 3 that you had?
Well, the first bike I had was this bike right here, which is the green one. It used to be a 96 Nostalgia. It's still a 96, but it used to be a Nostalgia model. And it was the green and silver one. And loved the bike. Used to ride it everywhere.
That color was nice.
Yeah, I loved that bike. And used to ride it to Ensenada, rode it to Sturgis, rode it everywhere.
Wow.
And then I had an accident. And after the accident, I just like, well, you know what? Everybody has this bike. I want to change it up a little bit. So I completely redid everything. I shaved the frame, I raked it out, put a longer front end, changed all the fenders, the brakes. The only thing that I think is the same is the transmission. Okay. That's the only thing that remained the same.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. The reason I did it the way it looks, it's kind of more of a chopper-esque look, and it was kind of an ode to my dad, because my dad used to ride, and he used to have a 55 panhead chopper with a Springer front end. It was just a beautiful bike.
That was bad.
And it was cool because he used to let us ride. He used to let me work on it or help him. So like in the wintertime, we were young. We were 7, 8, 9 years old. And he would bring it in the winter. In the winter, he'd bring it in the house. And yeah, he'd tear it apart and he'd do some work.
Yeah.
And then I remember one time he's like, I'm going to paint it. I need you to help me. I said, okay. He goes, I want you to do the designs of the pinstriping, and I want you to do all this.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I loved it. And so it was fun. He let me do that. And I used to draw a lot. I really enjoyed artwork. And so he belonged to a club.
Okay.
And so I drew all their artwork for their clubhouse.
Oh, wow.
So all their walls had posters of all the artwork that I used to do. And this is back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. Like Easy Rider was real big then. And I used to always draw the choppers. So the chopper look was, the big thing then. So it's kind of like a little, little dedication to my dad.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And it does look like a chopper. If you guys will get a look at it, it almost looks like a rigid. Yeah. Almost, if you don't stare at it. No, I love that bike, dude. And that's been featured a few times in a few, like, has it been magazines or just? Yeah, it's been in a few magazines. Okay, yeah. It's been an Easy Rider. It's been in, there was that one Lowrider magazine, or not the Lowrider magazine, but the Chicano style bikes. Okay. It was out for a while. Okay. I can't remember the name right now, but it was really, man, they had some nice bikes in that. It was a good magazine. And so, and Barnett's, I think it was in Barnett's. But wow. Yeah, it was in a couple of magazines. Do you do most of the work yourself? I did most of the work. Yeah. I have a friend that painted it. He painted both the blue bike and the green bike. Okay. Rebel Design here in Roseville. Oh, okay. And but the majority of it I did myself. Yeah. I did have the frame braked by the frame man. Okay. But other than that, yeah, I did it myself. See, I envy you guys because I have no problem saying it. I don't like working on my stuff. I don't want to work on my stuff. So when I talk to guys that do, I'm like, man, that's cool. But I still think it's cool, but I'm not going to do it. Yeah. For me, and I've said it before, there's reasons why there's shops. There's a reason why there's these guys, because guys like me, I'm just going to go, here, this is what I want, knock it out. Yeah. But I think it's cool if, like, the guys that do, like, I dig it and I respect that. Like, well, I think a good thing to do is, you got to know your basics, basically. If you know your basics and you work on your bike, even when you clean it, you can check for things. You can check for loose bolts. You can check to see, hey, that doesn't look right, Right. You want to catch these things before you're on the road and then something happens or something breaks while you're on the road. But I really enjoy it. I mean, I like to work on them because when something breaks or something goes wrong, then it's on you. It's not on somebody else who may have been working on your bike and didn't really care. Well, this is your livelihood. This is your life. You're on the road, and if something goes wrong, you want to make sure that, hey, you're going to be responsible for yourself. So those are the reasons I'd like to do the work when I can. I can't do everything, but the things that I can, I want to do myself. And Yank, you guys just said something. I've been getting a lot of emails and DMs from new riders, both women and men. And he said something right now that's just as simple as can be. When you're cleaning your bike, like just for some knowledge, check for little things. When I clean my bike, I do the same thing. But you never know. You might find a loose bolt, or you might find a bolt missing, or you might find something broken. And so for all you new riders, man, that's something to remember out there. Because like I said, we've been getting a lot of people asking, hey, I'm new, what should I do? And there's a simple thing to do right there. Yeah, you put it up on a jack, clean them white walls, Clean them white walls. And while you got it up there, man, look around, look for some loose bolts. Look at, touch things, just feel them. So sometimes your exhaust might be a little loose, It's like, hey, that when you're wiping it down, So it's just the simple things. Check your belt, see if it's loose or if it's tight, if it's just right. Different things. Funny thing is check your tires when you're going through. You might have a nail in it and you don't even know it. It might be you might be riding. When you ride and then all of a sudden you lose air. Yeah. Or something. Simple things. Right. Right. Just look out. Just check it out. Oh yeah, man. School 101 today. Now the Street Glide. Is it a Street Glide or Ultra Glide? It's actually a standard. It's a FLH standard. Oh, wow. And yeah, it's a 2003 anniversary. Okay. And when I got it, it was black and didn't have anything on it. No stereo, no nothing. It didn't even have chrome on it. Wow. Yeah, it was all basic. Wow. So. And then what, you done with this one as far as? Yeah, I'm not doing anything. Just ride it. I got the Road King behind me that I want to work on. I want to start
I want to paint it,
Right.
do a little more chrome work on it, and get it to where I can use it, to promote the brand, maybe take it to shows,
Okay.
It's never going to be like top notch, like, a lot of these guys that have
Right,
etching
yeah.
and stuff like that. No, it won't be like that because I want to write it still too.
Right.
But yeah, I do want to fix it up to where it's really, really mint.
Now, for a lot of people who don't know, you said brand. So tell them about your clothing brand.
Well, yeah, I started this a couple years ago too. It's a Chicano style clothing, and kind of it's been really good. It's been a good vehicle to meet more people, to do a bunch of different things, and I really enjoy it,
Yeah.
and it's fun because I get to design my own artwork. I get to design everything. For a while there, I had a company that when I started, I would just, I'd be at work and then I get people say, hey, can you send me this, or I had to open up a little website. But it got to a point where it was just getting too busy with my work, because I was basically at work doing the other work.
Working at work?
Yeah, working at work, and that's not cool, So I was like, okay, this is not paying the bills, so I better focus on my real job. And so a company approached me and says, hey, we'll do your internet sales, we'll do all this, and,
Oh, wow.
and we'll pay you royalties,
Right.
while we do this for you. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea, And so I did that, and that was cool, and it worked for a little bit, but I'm taking it back now because I'm going to be retiring from my regular job.
Nice.
And I'll have more time to focus on this.
Right.
And, and I haven't, like the design part of it, I haven't really put out that much because I'm getting ready to start just doing it all over.
Okay.
And start just pushing something, just some cool stuff.
So they keep you ready for a new launch coming out in the next few months?
The next few months I'm going to come out with some new designs, new artwork, just trying to change it up a little bit. And, this is a tough market, you're in it.
Right.
And there's a lot of good people out there, a lot of good companies. And I think with my brand and with my internet or social media resources, I like to promote other brands. I like to promote like people who are coming up, and just to me it's just cool. I just like it. I feel that there's just enough for everybody, and you don't have to put anybody down to make yourself better.
Right.
It's easier, it's better if you promote other people and then bring everybody up. And I think that's something that is really important to me, at least.
Right.
And I enjoy it, So once in a while, I'll get these shirt companies or these Chicanos or selling their merchandise and hit me up and it's like, hey, can you do this? And I just had somebody do the other day and just say, hey, how much would you cost, to put me on your story? I was like, what do you mean? I don't want to charge you. I'll just do it. Just show me. I'll look at their page. I'll see what they got.
Right.
And if I like what they got, then I'll promote it.
And I agree. I agree with that. You said it, and it's not personal. You said if you like what they got, because you just don't want to be like.
No, I'm not going to shove everything up.
Right. Yeah. And it's not like, I don't say it in words without hurting feelings. It's not personal. It's just business. Like it's because at the end it reflects off you.
Yes.
If it's something.
Well, if it has to come along the lines of what I do.
Exactly.
If it's within the Chicano culture, low riding or V-class or whatever you want to call it, if it's something that's like something that I like or I push, because I only push stuff that I like.
Right.
I won't push anything. If I don't like it, I'm not going to push it.
Now I know like the longest ride I've done from where I'm at, I've been to Vegas, I've done Santa Barbara, LA, which is 100 miles. But you've done some good rides from right here in Sacramento. You've done Oregon, Sturgis, Ensenada, which that's a little mission right there, isn't it?
Yeah, that was fun.
Now, what's the difference between those kind of rides and say like getting a group of guys and just bar hopping around town? Like that's a ride, but that's not really a ride. You know what I mean?
Well, it's completely different. I think long journeys are more than a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever. Those are the really good adventures that you can look back and say, man, that was cool. When you go on a long ride, it's not just like it's different. It's work. but it's like good work. You know, it's like, man, this is, you know, because you have to face different elements.
Right.
So like, let me give you an example of like when we were going to, and I like smaller groups. I don't want like huge groups because, you know, if you get big groups, it's just like herding cats.
In general, or for long rides?
For long rides.
Okay.
Yeah, for long rides. And then, so one of the examples is like when we were going to Sturgis, you know, I've done it a couple of times. And it's like we start here, we take off, early in the morning, you're going through the Sierra Nevadas. It's cold, it's, you know, it's just different.
Right.
You know, you got to be alert, and just the elements just feel so good. And then you get into Nevada, and then you're in Nevada, and then, oh man, it's getting hot. It's like, oh, it's grueling.
You go from layer to...
Yeah, from different layers, you know, and it's grueling. It's in the middle of the summer, and it's just, you know, it's sometimes getting over 100 degrees, 105, and then it's just like, oh, you know. And then after you get out of there, then you start going into Utah. And then one time we were riding to Utah on the same journey, and all of a sudden we're getting these crosswinds. It's just horrible. I mean, it was just like we're going like 20 miles an hour, almost practically riding sideways because of the crosswinds. Diesel in front of us flips over because of the winds, and then you're looking for a place to hide under. And so like the Bonneville Salt Flats area, there's no overpasses. I think there's an overpass every 25 miles or something like that. And so, you know, it's like an adventure. It's just, and then then you stop and you camp. You know, you could either go to hotels or whatever, or you can camp out and just you're spent at the end of the day. You know, you're like, oh man, that was fun, but it just beats you. And then the next day you get up, you're a little sore, but then you get on, and then after a while it's like, oh, feels good. You know, it's like, oh yeah. Then, you know, the wind's hitting you and you're feeling good, you know, and it's just, and then when you get to your destination, you know, it's just, wow, this is cool. That's you awesome. Know, and I know the first time I went to Sturgis, we were there, we got there in Chingos, you know, it's like, we want to get there, never been there, want to experience it. And it's really cool, but we were a little tired, so we didn't really get to do too much.
Okay.
Second time I went with some other buddies from Bakersfield, and really good friends that I grew up with, and we just took our time. So we went up like through, we stopped in Nevada, and then straight up, went to Idaho, went all the way up, almost into Canada.
Wow.
And then we came back down, then went through Wyoming, and we just zigzagged through the country. And we stayed off the freeways.
The adventure,
Oh my gosh, and that was just amazing.
Right.
And there's a lot of things you got to learn, you know, in the mornings when you're riding, or later in the evenings. You know, you got to keep your eye out for deer because they're going to jump in front of you. So it's just things like that, you know. And then it's just a different experience as opposed to just riding to, you know, a local bar 30, 40 miles away. You know, and that's fun too. It's got its place, but I think everybody, you know, who rides. Should experience a long ride. You know, they really should, and it just really it puts your heart into it. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's just like, it's just an amazing feeling.
Even if it's not a show destination or one of these big events, you can just get on and go for 3-4 days and with your buddies and do like a loop or something. And
even one time I went with a group of guys that were here out of Sacramento, and you know, they planned this ride, and we rode from here to Oregon.
Okay.
But we took all the back roads, you know, through the coast, and just zigzagged through the mountains everywhere. Amazing, just so much fun, just really cool.
What's that group called?
It's called the U-Turners.
That's the patch.
That's the patch I have. It's because
I thought it said, you're part of the union, and you tell the stories.
Yeah, they're called the U-Turners because they never get the right directions. They're constantly making U-turns.
That's an awesome name.
But it's cool, man. There was a great group of guys, and it was an amazing time.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and they do it yearly, so we're going to do it again this year. And Lord be willing, I'll be able to go.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Well, by the time this thing airs, you'll be retired and.
Yeah, I'm going to be retiring soon, so I'm excited about that part of my life.
All right, Yank. So maybe I don't know. I just started noticing in the last few months. I don't know if he's been doing it longer than that or maybe whatever, but the whole faith over fear. What is that? Is there a concept behind it besides obvious reasons? Faith over fear. You could, you know. But what else is behind that? Is there another reasoning for that slogan?
Well, I use that hashtag because, in life, you don't want to make decisions based on fear. You want to be able to do things in God's will.
Okay.
And if you pray about things, and if you have a relationship with God, He guides you and He helps you. And I think it's important that right now everything's based on fear. Everything you hear on the news is fear, fear, fear. Everything people talk about is fear. Especially since the pandemic, things like that. I'm totally feel you got to do the things that are right and right for yourself, right for other people.
No, definitely.
I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about your life shouldn't be based on fear, because then you can't really be who you really meant to be. You can't do the things you really need to do. You can't enjoy life. You can't make good friends. You can't grow as a person because you're so afraid of different things in life, and different people. When I meet people, it doesn't matter, what they believe or who they are or who they think they are. I look at the person and their actions and I want them to be better. I want myself to be better first. I have to worry about who I am and what I do. But I think having faith in God, it just helps make your life better, helps you make better decisions, and don't live in fear.
Right.
That's kind of the world is right now. It's basically fear, fear, fear.
Scared, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are scared. And I understand, but no, you're right. If your faith is bigger than your fear, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying go out and play on the freeway, because I believe God's going to take care of me. No.
Watch this.
No, that's stupid. No, but what I'm saying is, what? Don't let your life be guided by fear.
Right.
Trust God. Trust Him. And that's the thing, and I've been through a lot of things in my life. I've been through a lot of crazy stuff, like I've gotten shot at when I was in high school.
Wow.
Got a car pulled next to me. We were in a car in a lowrider. Some other guys pulled next to me, thought we were somebody else. Just opened fire to the M1. Just emptied out their banana clip and just filled the car with bullets, and hit my cousin in the arm. Okay. But everything else was going around my head. All the windows were broken. Everything, the dash, everything.
Right.
It was crazy. It was God's. God had His hand on me. It's just that's one of the experiences that it's like, God has His hand on me on that one.
Right.
There was another one where I was driving. I had an old convertible Corvair. I don't know if you remember the Corvairs.
Yeah.
Rear engines. Well, I was driving on the freeway going to pick up my wife from work, and a big semi truck clipped my back. Ended up flipping me over. The whole car just slid for like around 100 yards and burnt my scalp off. Because I got stuck. Got stuck in the car and it was upside down. And so it was another experience. Went down on my bike one time and broke some ribs and walked away from it. But God has always had His hand on me, and it just wasn't my time. And we talked earlier about people who want to learn to ride, and that's another faith over fear. People come to me or approach me. It's like, hey, I want to ride. I'm a little, they're learning later in life, but I'm afraid. I was like, then you shouldn't be riding.
You shouldn't be riding.
No.
Don't let the bike control you. You control the motorcycle.
Yeah, you don't want to be hesitant. When you're on a bike, you want to be able to have quick reflexes. You want to be able to avoid anything you have to or can.
Right.
You just don't want to be you don't want your life based on fear. And if you're riding in fear, then that's a bad combination.
And it's not enjoyable.
No.
No, it's not. I don't. We've all had close calls. And you get that little jittery feeling for a few hours or maybe a couple minutes, but that feeling of that small amount of fear you're riding is ugly.
Yeah, it is.
I don't care who you are, you've all been through where you're just like, oh my God, that was so close. You're just like, now you know you're the next, and then, after it goes away. But yeah, you do not want to be riding in fear.
No, you don't. And then I remember right after I had my accident, and my bike went down. Like a couple of days later, I said, like, I gotta get back on my bike. I can't be afraid of it, because I don't know, for those of you who've been in accidents on bikes, there's always that little fear when you get back on. It's like, and then I think I rode for like an hour. And at first I was like, a little jittery, It's like, no, I gotta, you gotta have it. You gotta overcome that.
Right.
And so after like an hour or so, I was like, okay, I can relax now. I feel this feels good. It doesn't feel like, like I'm freaking out or worried about things that are gonna happen. So yeah, and people always say, aren't you afraid? When you ride, aren't you afraid? Why do you ride motorcycles? It's so dangerous. Well, first thing I would say is, you could get killed walking down the street.
Exactly.
You can get killed doing anything. You might as well, if you enjoy riding and that's a passion of yours, then enjoy it. There'll be a time that God calls you. You don't know when it is. Could be on the bike. It could be
in a car.
You could be in bed. You just don't know. So again, don't base your life on fear. Base it on faith, faith in God, of course, and then faith in yourself, faith that you're going to do the right thing, that you're going to make right decisions. So,
man, there it is, you guys. Faith over fear. Yank, thank you for having us, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, I'll shake your hand right this time.
Thank you guys, man, for tuning in to another episode of Tales of a King. We'll talk to you guys soon. King Life.